Jai Gurudev everyone, and welcome to the another week summary, 10th of March till 16th of March of the book Yoga Vasishtha. Now before we go into the summary section today, I would like to share a few things with you. Just to give you in-depth more understanding about what we are discussing here. Um, there are two aspects now you must have realized by now. There is the subtle aspect of your existence, and there is a gross aspect of your existence. Now the gross aspect of your existence is where you see all the matter, all the physical objects, all the whole world, the whole creation has come up into that. Into that only we will put the mind also, because mind is, though you cannot see that, still it can be very much felt, and it can be very much easily observed by by us, by in the witness consciousness we can easily see the thoughts arising into the mind. So the mind, body, and the whole material world is one aspect of the existence, and from where it has come is the another aspect of the existence, that your consciousness and something on which the consciousness is depends on. So this is where it gets very tricky. Whatever you cannot fathom, or whatever you cannot think of, whatever you cannot experience, whatever you cannot intellectually analyze, you start making concept out of that, and that's where the knowledge becomes very difficult for you to experience. Once it's become a concept, it's become very difficult to experience. Okay, so you need to understand that. So that's what I thought. I was thinking from last few weeks, and then I just came out with couple of examples which it can explain it in a little bit better way. I'm just going to give my best shot to explaining it to you. Like suppose there are waves, so the waves is the existence of this physical body. We always talk about this in many scriptures this example has been given. So understand it more thoroughly. The wave arising on the surface of the ocean, it just comes in the form, it stays there, and it diminishes in the water or on the seashore, wherever it is. Now if you put that in the slow motion, and if you make it of 100 years, 100 years is taking time to come in the form, staying there and going down, the whole period is 100 years. That 100 years is the lifespan of the particular human being. Let's consider like that. So now this wave, when it's coming into the existence, staying there and going down, is a physical form that we see. Now on the surface, from where this wave is coming and going down, is, we can call it as a consciousness. Consciousness is also movement happening in the consciousness. Consciousness is also not the ultimate reality. By now many of you who has been sincerely listening and reading this book might have understood that there is something which is there beyond the consciousness as well. So that base of that ocean, the top layer from where the waves are forming, is the consciousness. Now in that consciousness, we always say, to give you the example, or for you to understand, for any new person to understand, is it is the individual consciousness. Because when you sit down and when you meditate, all you can see the aura, or all you can see the energy around your body. You don't see the energy happening around the whole Adelaide, or whole Australia, or whole world. You are not got to that level yet. So you just feel the strong energy movements and strong vibration, strong sensation movements happening around this body. So that is where the consciousness is actually coming into the form and existing as a body. So that's why it's very thick, strong bond is there. That's where the connection is happen, and that's why you always feel that, and that is very difficult to break. And that's why we call it as the individual consciousness. But today, understand this is, though it is the individual consciousness, and though it is understood on the individual level, it is actually the entire consciousness, the field of consciousness. But because your body is there, it is getting felt, or it is getting experienced more on this particular area around you. Because consciousness needs some food to feed on it, for it to be alive and exist. And that food is this body. When the body is gone, consciousness is gone. That's why in many of the meditations, Gurudev said, mind is, the body is like the mind is like a wick, and the body is like a candle. So the wick is there burning. Mind is nothing but the consciousness. The wick is there burning until and unless there is a candle there. If the candle is not there, the flame will go off. The same way, when the body is not there, the consciousness flame will go off. So that's why it is so so strongly bond each other. That's why, to make you understand, in many of the scriptures, or even I am also giving the example of the individual consciousness. However, if you just focus on that, you will realize there is no specific area that you can say this is me and this is others. You will feel the strongness of that, like the fan is blowing. Under the fan you will feel the strong air, but the air is everywhere. The same way here in this body, when you are focusing on this body and going deep inside you, you will feel that connection very strong, but it is just the field of consciousness. Now, from on what that field of consciousness is actually depend on, not depend on, is there, on what, from where that field of consciousness has come up for it to understand on the individual level, is the absolute, from where it has come. And it is like the wave is the body, the surface of the ocean is the consciousness, and deep inside, if you go, the depth of the ocean where everything is calm is actually the consciousness, the absolute, the infinite consciousness, field of infinite consciousness, or it can be called as absolute. I generally prefer to call it as the absolute and the consciousness and the physical form, because then it makes the distinction very clearly. However, in the book that we are reading, it is given as infinite consciousness as the ultimate. Somewhere we have heard the word the absolute as well there. Now, if the wave is, will the wave we have the existence if there is no surface of the ocean? No, the wave will not exist if there is no surface of the ocean. Right now, where I'm sitting, where you are sitting, there is no surface of the ocean, there is no wave. Now, the surface of the ocean will not exist if there is no depth water there underneath. It will not exist. So one is depending on the other, and the other is depending on the last one. However, if you take out the whole surface of the ocean, water and all the waves, there will be still water remaining at the base of the ocean, and that is what is all they always say, that though this world will not exist, the absolute will always exist. Though this consciousness will not be there, the infinite consciousness, all the absolute will always be there. That is why these examples are given. That is why it is always said like that. Now the problem comes at two stages. First thing is, you start meditating. What are you doing exactly when you are meditating? You might not have this idea about what meditation is, what is this technique. You're generally just holding on to the technique, but the technique is there for you to reach to a particular level. Once you reach to that particular level, you have to let go of the technique and you have to just sink into that field. And that field is your consciousness becoming aware of itself. That is what is the whole process of meditation. We take the support of the mantra, we take the support of the breath, we take the support of instructions from the master, whatever it is. These are all the tools. They are tools that they are used for you, because our mind is focused outside, the consciousness is focused outside. All the time we are watching the whole world through our five senses. If the senses are closed, we are watching our mind through our inner senses, and that's why we are always focusing outward. To bring the attention inward, all these tools are used. And once these tools are used, and once you reach to that level, you just relax there. And that's why many times you must have seen in many of the guided meditations, Gurudev give the instruction, which is mostly the last instruction of the meditation. Just let go and be with yourself. Repose in the self. These are all the instructions that, now everything is gone. You're gone deep inside by following this instruction. Now just be there. So that is what is happening. And that is what is the first most important thing. The second thing, from transferring from there into the absolute, is a very difficult step, and that is not in your hand, that is not in anybody's hand. That will just happen one day spontaneously and accidentally, like it is happened the other way around. The other way around, spontaneously or accidentally, the consciousness has realized its nature, and then all the forms has happened. The same way, when we go back from this individual body mind complexity down, you reach to a particular level, and after that it is all just depends on the time and whatever the efforts you have put in and all that. Once you let go of everything and you just keep sinking in into that consciousness, automatically one day all of a sudden you will just get there. But be mindful. It is like a deep sleep. It is not a deep sleep, but it is like a deep sleep. Now, when you go into the deep sleep, do you remember anything? No. So same way, when you go into that state, you will not remember anything. You will not have any existence, because to know something, to remember something, to experience something, you have to come on the level of the consciousness which is above that. And once you come above that, then you miss that. Is it getting? Are you getting what I'm saying? So another example that I can give is, suppose there is a light. There is a light coming from the torch, or from the lamp. Now that light is like a consciousness. In that light there are objects, they are like the physical forms, and the electricity which you cannot see is there as a absolute. So the light will not exist because of the electricity, and because of the light is not there, you will not see the objects. Let's take an example, like it's a dark night, so you will not see the objects. So the objects are not the primary thing, the light is also not the primary thing. The primary thing is there has to be the electricity. But if you take out the objects, if you take out the light, then also electricity will be there, always existing. So that is how it is interdepending on each other. And again, there is an example of clay. There is an example of clay and pots, mud and pots, gold and all the ornaments of the gold. All these things are given. And if you think a little bit more, you will start understanding these examples more and more. So hope this is making a little bit of clear now. And then we will move to the 10th of March, the first page. This is the story that is we have been listening from last time. The story of Karkati, who has been meditating on the penance. And then there was a question that I asked, that why the austerities initial pages has been said, like is not important, then why again here it has been said that she started doing the austerities and penances? Because if you read that page on page number 8 and start understanding, she is experiencing herself on the body level, and she wants to feed her hunger. Hunger is depending on the body level, and that's why she is doing the penances. All these things will be valid if you take a body stand. All these things will not have any existence, and it will not require if you move out of the body stand and go into the consciousness or absolute stand. So that's why she's doing the penance, and that was the question that actually I asked, if anybody can understand that. But anyway, so let's come here. Then she is doing this penance, and then after doing this penance, then Indra, the world, the god, he asked Vayu, the wind god, to go and talk to her. And then she came here, and she has become the perfect yogini. And in the meanwhile, Suchika, her name, because she got into such a small form, and she has been blessed by Lord Brahma to become the virus and cholera and go into everybody's heart. And then she realized that's not useful, so she again started doing another penance. And now she has become totally pure by her penance. She has gained the direct knowledge of the supreme causeless cause of all by her own examination of the intelligence within her. This is very important. Whatever the process that I talked to you, whatever the things I told you, if you just sit and if you just get rid of everything that you can think is time bound and limited, you will start getting to that absolute form. And that is what is discrimination, that is what is viveka, and that is what is a very, very, very important stage in getting the self-knowledge. If you want the self-knowledge, if you want something else, if you want a temporary happiness, temporary some pleasurable experiences and all that, then many of the techniques are there, you can continue doing that. But now you have touched this book and you have taken this step, then I believe that you get the most out of that. So seek the highest, because everything else is there in the highest anyway. So keep challenging yourself with all the concepts you follow. Keep challenging yourself with all the rituals you follow. Keep challenging yourself with all the things that you think about yourself, including your body form, your gender form, your education, your mental form, your concepts and everything, And then surely direct inquiry into the moment of the thought in one's own consciousness is the supreme guru or a perceptor, and no one else, O Rama. So that's where the whole knowledge is. What we see a physical guru is nothing but the embodiment of that knowledge into the physical form. And because that embodiment of that knowledge is there in the physical form, and that physical form can guide us, that's why we are actually attracted towards that and getting to know how we can reach to that form. But here, if you start shunning out everything out of you, whatever you think you are not, and you start reaching there, then that pure knowledge is inside you also, inside me also, inside everywhere. And that is why that pure knowledge becomes your highest guru in giving you that ultimate final, again we can't say experience because experience will make you experiencer and experience, ultimate reality. It will just give you the glimpses of ultimate reality and how you can become the reality. You will not know the reality, you will not know the knowledge, you will become the knowledge, you will become the reality, because there is no two at that level. Okay, then after that she said okay fine, then she got her form and all that, and she was there in the forest, and then this king and his minister, they came there, and then they were roaming around, and then she thought she will take exam of them, she will find out if they are wise men, she will clear her doubts. So she asked them lots of questions, what is that is in the pure space through which everything appears, and what is that in me and you, that is you in me and me in you, and what is the movement, and what is that is responsible for the function of all the elements. She asked lots of questions on page number 11. It's a very nice questions, and if you read those questions carefully, and if you have studied this book a little bit with intensity, you will start understanding and you will answer that question as well. However, here the minister answers that it is the self is the subtler than even space. Since it has no name, it cannot be described, and neither the mind nor the senses can reach it or comprehend it. It is the pure consciousness. The entire universe exists into the consciousness that is atomic, even as the tree exists within the seed. So like we said last time, like there are impressions in this consciousness, and consciousness has got possibilities of millions and billions and infinite impressions, which are actually evolving and becoming the infinite forms. So imagine, just if you take the examples of human beings, since the evolution process started, so many different forms of human beings has come, they are stayed, and they are gone, and so many are right now here, and they are born, they are getting born, they are living, they are dying, and so many in the next 100 years will get born, live, and die. And have you ever come across anyone who is exactly similar like that? There might be similar faces, similar body types, but the thinking will be different, the working will be different, the understanding will be different, perception will be different, expression will be different. So you cannot find a single person that is same. Now apart from that, there are so many trees, there are so many creatures, there are so many animals, and everything is different. That is what is a possibility we are talking about. And yes, it is not void and nothingness, for it is the self or of all, and it is very self of one who says it is, and of the one who says it is not. So this is very important. It is the one who is claiming. Now what is inside you, who wants to know this? It is that. And what is inside, who already knows this? It is that. So it wants to know something, it don't want to know something. It want to do something, it don't want to do something, because it is just there. It is the power, and it is the energy behind every action that is happening through you. But if the action is not happen, every action is there in the subtle, in the impression form inside it, because there is a potentiality of that action to happen in the future, or if it did not happen also, then there is a potentiality remains. So that's why it is there in everything, but it is not there in anything. And it's very well explained here. In that in that infinite ocean of consciousness, whirlpools known as three worlds arise spontaneously and naturally. Even the whirlpools are caused by the very nature of running water. Because this consciousness is beyond the reach of the mind and senses, it seems to be void, but since it can be known by the self-knowledge, it is not void. So the three different worlds can be arising, like we said, different types of waves arise in this infinite consciousness. And again, at one point we can say it is completely void, but we cannot say it is completely void, because something that is void you cannot know, but it can know itself, it can be one with itself, and it can experience the beauty of understanding itself into the purest form, which is a process of enlightenment, a process of liberation. That is why it is considered as not as a void, but considered as completely and full of everything. The self, which is the nature of pure consciousness, seems to be inert and insentient when it is permanently associated with inertia. Permanently associated with inertia, that means when it's completely associated with your body form and you're just thinking about your body form and working on that, then it becomes inert. In infinite space of infinite consciousness, in infinite space, this infinite consciousness has made infinite objects appear. Though all this seems to have been done, such effect being is merely fancy. Nothing has been done, hence it is both consciousness and inertia, the doer and the non-doer. Now, the inertia, the inert form of it is when it objectifies itself and when it gets caught up into those objects and when it's caught up into the world appearance and when it wants to do something to please the others around it through the body, then it's caught up into all those things. But at the same time, it has got the potential of not to get caught up and just established into itself. So that's why it is said doer or it is said non-doer. It is said consciousness or it is said inertia. It doesn't matter what you think about. It is into everything. As long as one sees the bracelet as a bracelet, it is not seen as a goal. So if you're stuck into the body forms, you will away from the consciousness, you will not get it into the consciousness. That's why whenever you are very, very sick or very, very ill, you will not understand this spiritual knowledge. And if you think you are ill, if you think you are suffering, you will not understand this spiritual knowledge. No matter how much anybody, the master will come and tell you, then also you will not understand unless you have that faith that my suffering will be taken away from this person or by this method. You will not be able to go away from that. That is what is mean by if you attach to the bracelet, you will not see the gold. But when it is seen that the bracelet is just the word and not the reality, then the gold is seen. But the moment you understand, oh my goodness, my suffering is limited to my body, and if you work being witness of your body, then when the suffering will come, after that the suffering will not bother you too much. It will be there, but it will not be hurting you and taking you away from that inner state of your being. Even so, when the world is assumed to be real, the self is not seen. The same thing we discussed now. And when this assumption is discarded, consciousness is realized. It is all hence real. And it is a wonderful state, I will tell you, because the moment you will start going a little close to the truth, I'm not saying I'm established in the truth or I know the truth and all that. We're not claiming that, and it is very silly to claim that because it's so vast and it's so infinite that it is very rarely anyone can say that. But when you start walking towards that and when you start getting a little bit of glimpses here and there also, then also the world start looking completely different. You see the whole world, but you know that all these physical forms, behind all the physical forms, it is the consciousness which is existing and working through all the forms because of the mind and body complexity made up of all the 5 different elements and the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, and the way the mind has stored all the memory and ego, all these forms are behaving differently. All these forms are coming to the existence in a different way. They behave in different way. Their attitude is in different way. Their understanding is in different way. But ultimately, it is the same reality which is there. It is the same sunlight which goes everywhere. Through this window, it looks different. Through that door, it looks different. Through the glasses, it looks different. Through the sunglasses, it looks different. But it is the same sunlight. It's everywhere. It's the same thing. What appears to be but a jugglery of Maya, which creates a division in the consciousness into the subject and object. And the moment you move away from the consciousness and the consciousness wants to know itself through these forms or wants to know the other forms, the consciousness wants to exist and make sure that it is existing, it's making its existence powerful, and at the same time it wants to know the existence of the other forms, then you're getting caught up into the Maya. Your oneness is gone. The moment the oneness is gone, duality is come, you're gone. Till the time there is just oneness, and that oneness right now you're experiencing only in deep sleep. So be thankful that at least the nature has given you the power that it's not in your hand and you're going into that deep sleep and feeling that oneness for few hours in your life. The matter is that how much self effort you will put so that you can experience this oneness while you are awake. That's where all you can do. But the oneness is already there. All you have to be realize is just get rid of unwanted stuff. You are not reaching out or realizing something new. That is already there. Before you were born, it was there. Now you are there. After we will die, it will be always there. It was always there, and it will always be there. It is just like when we will start establishing into our own nature, then it will start making it more clear. Now she said, okay, fine, I like your answer, Mr. Minister. Now, king, you tell me. And the king also said the same thing. It relates to the eternal Brahman, which is the pure existence. Thus, this self can be attained by the hundreds ways and hundreds means. Once I met one of the senior teacher who came here in Adelaide, and he said at that time the population of the world was 7.3 or 4 billion, and he said there are 7.4 billion ways to reach to the self. That was his way of saying it, and it stuck into my head that time, because that is absolutely so true. No matter we all will follow the same technique, no matter we all will follow the same guru, no matter we will all say hear the same instruction from the same guru, the way this complexity has been made with 5 elements and 3 gunas, our understanding and our reaching to goal will be different. The path is that. The path is that individual path, not the combined path. Combine, you can do sadhana, combine, you can listen to the more knowledge, but when the ultimate has to realize, or when it has to reach to that goal where all the goals falls and where all the goals diminishes, that is the path of walking alone. And that has been misunderstood by many people in mainly in India and mainly in few other countries around India. That's why they leave everything and they go into the forest and Himalayas, because they think all these things is a distraction. But right now, if you stay where you are and deep inside, if you just start working on that, your goal will be achieved. You don't have to leave anything. It will be very disturbing and it will be very much distracting all the around the things happening in the world. So it will take at least for 6 months for you to just be with yourself while you are doing the other things. But that practice is worth investing, because once you do that, then after that everything just looks like a drama happening around us. That's it. Very rarely you will come out of your main established state and start acting. Right now you just have to do that whatever is required. So it is the supreme self, and yet it is nothing. When after it is actually very interesting and very amazing statement, because after achieving that you feel, oh my goodness, it was nothing. Why I wasted so much of my time and energy in doing so many things? It's nothing. And then that genuine smile will come on your face, that, oh my goodness, after doing all those things I just reached here. And then you will realize, when I was young, when I was a child, somebody told me, and I just went around the whole world and came back to the same spot. Though the self is extremely subtle and atomic and of the essential nature of the pure consciousness, by it the entire universe is wholly pervaded. Okay, and then the king continues some more things about the self and sages and speak about that and all that. Just as because of the consciousness in the breathless gold realizes its goldness, the subject manifesting and the object, the seen, the seer and the seen, and realizes the subjectivity. One is reflection of the other, and there is no real duality. One is reflection one is reflection on the other. Imagine whatever you have in this world around you, will that exist if you are not there? It will not exist. If you are not there, your mind is not there. If your mind is not there, your body is not there. If your body is not there, your house is not there, your relatives are not there, your job is not there, your education is not there, the whole world is not there. So that's where the duality comes, because it has actually just seen itself as it has objectified itself and seen into the object form, and be that the object form, and then again it has again objectified, and again the cycle has go on. First thing, it wants to see itself objectified as an educated person. It educated, then that educated person objectified itself as a job person doing a job or a business, then you objectify that. That person objectified itself earning more money, then that person objectified itself getting into the relationship, that person objectified itself getting into the father or mother or something. It just went on. You saw something as an object inside you, you perceive, you achieved that. After you achieved that, you went on to the second stage of objectifying from there, and this whole world has come across out from you. The subject exists because of the object, and the object is but the reflection of the subject. Duality cannot be if there is not one. And the duality is there because the subject is there, and subject is seeing the objects and and achieving and making those objects real. Duality cannot be there if there is not one. Where is the need of the notion of unity if one alone exists? When thus the real knowledge is gained by the means of right inquiry and understanding, only that remains which is not expressible in words. This is very, very beautifully put here. We say that it non-dual. We say this non-dual, or we think about Advaita. Why we say Advaita? Because we are all stuck into the Dvaita. We are all stuck into the duality, and first we need to understand this duality, and then we need to move from the duality to non-duality. That's why we give this step as a non-duality to non-duality, Dvaita to Advaita form, from materialness to the spirit, to the conscious level, from material to consciousness level. However, here he has said very well, once you establish into that, and when it is only that, then where it comes the question of duality or non-duality, or one or unity or non-unity, all those things are just words. They are just the words. And then the last page, 16th of March, then Vasishta continued. After listening to these words of the king, Karkati became tranquil, and her demoniacal nature left her. Demon's nature. And then she said, "O wise man, you are both fit by worshipping and by all, and to be served by all. One who enjoys the company of the enlightened men does not suffer in the world. Even one who holds the candle in the hand does not see the darkness anywhere." That is why the company of the holy man and the existence of the physical guru has come into the utmost importance. Why? Because those people are living this life. Every word coming of their mouth is actually clearing the doubt inside us, making us realize our own true nature. Like we discussed the last time, whatever we are discussing here, the seed is getting implanted, and that seed will sprout automatically on its own when the right time will come. All you have to do is just trust on that seed and just keep nourishing it without doubting it, and that is what happens with the Guru's words. The moment Guru gives you the mantra, and the mantra you meditate, the Guru give you the technique, you meditate with the technique. That is like a seed, and the moment you nourish that, the way you look after that, it starts sprouting. Oh Rama, by merely listening to my words, you will be enlightened. There is no doubt on this. Know that the universe has arisen from Brahman, and it is the Brahman alone. Once I was asked, then so the Vasishtha is also confirming this, that if you think I'm your master and I'm giving you this knowledge, then of course you have to trust my words, and you have to just listen to me, and everything has come out of this, and it is Brahman everywhere. It is the pure consciousness everywhere. It is that absolute everywhere. Once I asked the creator Brahma to tell me how this universe was first created, and then the Brahma told me that it is the mind that appears as all this. At the end of the previous epoch, there was a cosmic night, and as soon as I woke up at the end of the night, I offered my morning prayers and looked around, and wishing to create the universe. This is just a story given by, on the level of the consciousness. See, Brahma means consciousness. Brahman means absolute. Brahman is a different word. Brahman is like the name given to the absolute. Brahma is the name of the creator God. There is a distinction between, to understand that, so don't get confused with these two. Brahman is the word used for the absolute, the infinite plane of consciousness, and Brahma is the creator. So this is different. And then he asked the creator Brahma, so that level, on the level of the consciousness which is creating all those things. So he asked him, and he said, I'm going to create all those things and all that, and why he said only mind that appears at all time? Because mind is nothing but the movement happening in the consciousness. Sit back and understand what mind is. Mind is nothing but, you give it a name of a thought because you have put the words in it. You know that sound inside you, you know that vision that you see inside you. But if you don't know that sound, if you don't know that vision, then it's just happening, the movement in the consciousness, the energy is moving in the consciousness. And witness experiencing these moments all the time is world appearance. And when you witness these moments experiencing happening all the time, is you establish into the witness consciousness, and all these moments happening around you is nothing but the world appearance. It just takes the form of the world appearance. So you are creating your world, you are a Brahma for your own world. That is what is actually, I was just reading my own notes written here. That is what is, you need to understand, you are creating your own world, and that is getting created the way you are creating. Like I just discussed some time ago, how you objectified one form of yours, and once you got that, you objectified the other forms of yours. The same way this world has got manifested into so many different forms and so many different shapes and sizes and sounds and names, and colors. And that's where we are right now, actually. So everybody is a creator, and everybody has got that same power, from that consciousness, that everybody else has got it, and even the creator Brahma or anyone else. So that's where we actually stop here now. And then there's another story which is we just started. So the Brahma talks about the suns, how the sun has come into the existence, and how this world and how many worlds are there and all that. But again, it's a story form, and everything, if you consider it as a consciousness level, then you will come to know, oh my goodness, there is so many things happening here. The mythology has got two important things. One is the story form, and one is the pure knowledge. Till the time you get caught up into the story form, and you think that all this is real, and there is a real Brahma, there is a real Brahma as a creator, and he is creating, you will never reach to the ultimate knowledge that is there as a yoga maya, as a highest yogic illusion. Because for you not to reach to the knowledge, and only those will reach to the knowledge who will actually disregard that as well. So that is why you have to disregard that as well to understand what is reality. And that's what we will see in next chapter, what is the story of the Brahma and sun reveals to us. Okay, till then, take care. Jai Gurudev.